anybody who's tuning in after the fact, because nobody's here now. I never know what to do during these periods. So, until people join and start asking questions, I guess I'll just talk to you about what the plan is today. So usually I would be fixing something in the van. Well, that's just what I've done the last two live streams, is I've had some 12 volt stuff that I needed to play around with and fix up. So today I don't actually have any little maintenance things that I need to do on the van, so I'm doing just a pure Q&A on van building. So hopefully whoever joins and is interested in asking some questions about their van build or about my builds can go for it, and yeah, we can get some questions answered, because I don't really have any little maintenance and stuff to do. So if you do want to ask any questions, then shoot, and I would love to answer that for you. It's kind of like an extension of the one-on-one consultation calls that I've been doing, where people can ask whatever questions they need to ask, and I'll answer them one-on-one. But now you can do it in a little bit less confronting group setting, if you're interested, if you have some questions that you need answered about your van build. So until we get some questions, I guess I'll just start talking about my van conversion guide, which is really exciting. It's been a long time coming, the second part of the van build guide. So, hey Jason, hey Jake, you've helped me out so much already. Thanks so much for that. Cheers, man. I'm glad you found the videos useful. I'm doing the best I can to kind of be helpful wherever I can, but still sort of figuring it out myself how I can best do that. So that's really cool to hear that you've found some stuff useful just from the van tours and stuff that I've put up so far. So cheers. Thanks for being here, man. If you've got any questions about your build, now's the time. Shoot, and I'll answer them for you. Big Bar, hey, how's it going? So the van conversion guide is really, really exciting. It's basically just running through step by step every step in the process of a van conversion, to do a van conversion like my ones here. And I've done part one. So part one is out already. It's been out for ages. I've just never really told people about it for some reason. So part one is on the website and on the Facebook group as well, just more running through the preparation and planning and stuff. But part two is about the actual build, like building the base build, doing your insulation, and it will be covering like things like installing your window, your MaxxAir fan, doing your framing, your subfloor, your walls, roof, flooring, all of that stuff before you actually start building cabinetry in the van. So yeah, it's a little bit more of a practical phase of the van conversion process, and so it's taking me ages to do it, and I've been sort of trying to put it together so it's all integrated, or just working on my website basically. So that's taken a lot of time, but it's almost ready, the second part, and I'm really, really excited about it because I think it will actually be really helpful. Whereas part one, it's just really information dense. There's a lot of good information, but it's just a lot of writing basically. Big Bar, yeah, I'm good. I'm really good. Excited to go to New Zealand tomorrow. I'm going to New Zealand for a few weeks. So I thought I'd try and get in a quick live stream and answer some van build questions before I go. We'll see. I might do a call in New Zealand as well. But yeah, I'm trying to answer some van conversion questions if anyone's got any. Otherwise, I'll just keep talking about myself, I suppose. I don't know what badass Leo's doing. Roman Reigns. I don't know why you want us to acknowledge that Roman Reigns, but anyway. How's it going, badass Leo? Hi Jake, thank you for all the info on YouTube. We are working on the bed. One question, do you split the blanket box into two or leave it open? Ah, phew. Yeah, that's kind of an interesting thought. I've just left mine open, Mary. Thanks for the question. So I've just left mine open, but you could definitely um, put a divider down the middle. It's just how much you need, how much room you need basically to store your blankets and pillows and things. Like for me at the moment, because it's winter and I've actually got some blankets in the vans. The blankets, the pillows, the sheets are taking up the entire storage beside the bed. So a no divider is kind of working for me in this case. But in summer, when I don't have a blanket with me in the van, you could definitely a sort of midway divider would be really useful because yeah, you can use the whole second section for other things, which I definitely do in summer without a divider anyway. So a divider could be nice, yeah, just as some extra organization in the side of the bed compartment there. That's cool. Girls are better. Hey, how's it going? Weirdo, how's it going? Lizzie, good to see you all. So we're doing van conversion questions and answers. If anyone's got a van conversion that they want some help with, then they can ask some questions and yeah, we'll just chat about what you guys are up to. And if there are no questions, we'll chat about what I'm up to. Girls are better. Yeah, I'm really good. I was just saying before that I'm excited. I've got 3 weeks in New Zealand tomorrow. I fly out, so we'll see how that goes. Bit of snowboarding, a little bit of van life as well. In New Zealand, I'm actually visiting a mate who has a van and is renting it out on Camplify, which I'm doing with my vans as well. So trying to make a little bit of money from renting out the vans. And yeah, so my mate's renting his van out, and we've bought one together in New Zealand now as well, in Queenstown. So I'm going over to check that out with him and sort of do a little bit of a conversion in the back and just get it up to the freedom camping standards for New Zealand. So that'll be kind of cool. We might do a little video while I'm in New Zealand as well, and maybe even some live if anybody wants to ask some van build questions. Mary, good, thanks. Good idea regarding dividers in the bed frame, the outer box. I assume you run a support after the first pull-out part of the couch. So dividing, so having the pull-out section on the bed. So Mary is asking about with the convertible style of bed, when you pull out your frame, it is definitely a good idea to do that in two different sections, just to make it a lot more manageable to pull it out. If you can imagine sort of having to pull out the whole bed frame at once while you're standing there in front of it, like you can't do it because you've got to be standing in the way to pull it out basically. So it's just a real pain in the ass. So if you divide it into two, then you can stand sort of at one end of the bed, pull out the end, and then move along and pull out the next section, and it just works way better. And it also allows for, yeah, the little L section couch, which is here beside me as well. I'm in the van right now, so I'm at the deck. That's my little L section couch here. The second part of the pullout. It's my little desk. So this is where we are. This is actually really cool that I can do some live streaming in my van that, you know, a lot of you guys have seen me build. So this is Tilly that we're in. And yeah, this is where a lot of my content has come from building this van. And now I'm able to sort of be in here, have my laptop plugged in, and chatting to you guys, which is really cool. And quickly on the bed frame, Mary, it does. There's a support on the. I'll show you really quickly. There's a support on the storage over here. So you can see this rail runs all the way along the front of the storage. So that is what's supporting the bed frame as it pulls out. So I don't know if you can see it in there. It's a bit awkward, but yeah, the bed frame comes out and sits on that rail on the supporting on the storage. Sorry. Hey, how's it going, Matt? Dude, I want to just say cheers. Thank you very much for the shout out in your video. That was like such a surprise and really cool. I loved your video, and I've watched a few of your videos since then. The nomadic kayak fishing, the New Zealand van lifer slash nomadic fisher. It's sick. I've watched quite a few of your videos, man. I actually have an embarrassing story really quickly because it's not about van building, but when you tagged me in that video, I just, I got the notification and I was like, oh, cool. Like, one of the van build members from the group or something has made a video and tagged me. So I just went in and, offered some encouragement and support. And then it was after the fact that I noticed, like, oh, this guy's actually a YouTuber. And then, realized sort of who you were and that you'd, given me a shout out, which was hugely appreciated. And I was telling both of my parents that story later on, how it was a bit embarrassing because, you're obviously a YouTuber doing this full time, and I was, just like, oh, that's nice, great video. And both of them were like, oh, I know this guy. I've seen the video of him and the great white shark. So there you go. They'd both already seen clips of your content, man. So that was pretty cool. Girls are better. Nice. Thanks for subscribing, I suppose. Cheers. So, Mary's asking van build questions, which is why we're here. So, I assume that you use that support to put your runners on to support. Yeah, that's exactly right. So, it's designed that way that there's actually a little bit of an angle. You can't see it so much, but the support that's running along the front face of the storage area is sat on a little bit of an angle so that when the bed frame comes over and sort of sits up on top of it, it sort of latches on a little bit. It's hard to explain, but yeah, that's a really sort of critical part of this bed build, is that those frames have something to rest on the other side. Yeah, anyway, I'm super stoked about New Zealand. Yeah, I'm just in Queenstown though. It's a shame I'm not up on the North Island somewhere in a van. We could have caught up. I sound Australian. Which state? So I grew up in Melbourne, or I grew up in Geelong on the surf coast down south, but I'm living in Brisbane now. Plumbing. Alrighty. How did you figure out how to run your grey water tube through the floor, and how far from the outer van wall is it? Yeah, this was a little tricky. Basically, I used a laser level, so I shot a laser level through it to inside the van, which was also going underneath the van. So it's a little bit more a specific tool that I needed to sort of establish that it was possible, and just to line everything up. But then once I could double check the positioning that way, it was really easy. Hey Jared, how's it going, mate? Good to see you. Yeah, so basically it's hard up against the van wall. From inside the van, I drilled the hole with a hole saw bit, hard up against the van wall, and that pops out nice and nice and close to the wall underneath the van as well. So I'll have to do a little bit more of a detailed video on the grey water tube. But yeah, It's definitely possible, and it's such a cool trick. If anybody doesn't know what Mary's talking about, in this van, a standard Toyota Hiace, I've got my grey water tank, 20 liters, underneath the van. So it's in basically on the driver's side of the car, where there would be the wheel well, I suppose. On the passenger side, you have the wheel well, it's this open space. And on the driver's side, there is a similar open space, but there's obviously no door, so it's just free available space underneath the van. So I found that it fits a 20-litre plastic jerry can from Bunnings perfectly. So if you're able to run your grey water down through the floor of the van, then it's a really, really handy spot to put your grey water. Cheers. That's crazy. Small world, eh? Thanks, man. Yeah, dude, it was so funny. It was so funny. But yeah. And oh, yeah, I loved your build as well, Matt. It was really cool to see kind of, yeah, I guess a couple of little areas where you'd taken some inspiration from my stuff. I could see, where you liked some of the ideas that I've got in my builds, but then also the way you just absolutely made it your own, and you really made that van like such an awesome little fishing, paradise machine. That was, yeah, it was such a cool video. I really enjoyed that. Do you reckon you could use a little latch, like 2 bolts and some string, to close the sliding bed? To close the sliding bed. Yeah, you could. I'd choose, if you're referring to just stopping the bed from sliding out while you're driving, you could definitely do that. I guess there's no right or wrong way, whatever you're able to achieve. But in my case, I've just used some magnetic catches like you would put on a cupboard door. So on the back of the bed frame, when the bed, is stored away, those magnetic catches connect, and it sort of just gives a little bit more resistance and stops it from sliding out. With your past builds, have you had to cut out any rust and weld new material in? If so, how did it go? I don't want to talk about rust. I hate rust right now. So if anybody's in the Facebook group, you may have seen that I've had a huge rust problem just recently with the second van, this van that I just bought. So it's fully converted, and it's got it's just absolutely stunning. We put so much work into this van. Then had to get the windscreen replaced, and they couldn't fit a new windscreen because there was rust that had eaten through the top of the windscreen in the van, so they couldn't fit the new glass. So yeah, basically that was my first time having to deal with welding, because the windscreen was out, so I couldn't drive it to a repair shop to get it taken care of. So my only option was to go out and buy a welder and some metal, and yeah, I just watched a lot of YouTube, like we all do, trying to learn something new, and kind of figured it out. So it went about as well as it could have gone. Rust is never fun. And to be honest, it was incredibly stressful. It almost broke me. So I'm editing the video of me doing that right now, and it was such a stressful experience, but I was able to cut out some of the worst sections. In the end, there was kind of just too many little pock marks that I wasn't able to get everything cut out. So I was just able to treat the other areas and then bog it up, and we were able to get the new window in. But yeah, God, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Rust it's really tough. But definitely possible. Like I've never welded before, and I was able to weld a couple bits in like right angle bracket pieces on the front windscreen. So it was really tough, but it was possible. So if that is comforting for you, if you have a simple, nice open patch, it's definitely possible. If you're pretty handy and you're good with tools, then yeah, I'd give it a crack. What do I need help with? I need help with figuring out how I can help you guys better. That's what I'm trying to get better at, is learn how I can, yeah, help you guys be more, just basically provide more value for you guys on your van builds. Um, yeah. Girls Are Better is a YouTuber as well. That's sick. I'll have to check out your channel. Fairy Floss. Cheers. Thank you. Cheers. Mary. Mary is the MVP right now. It's the only one asking van build questions. Mary, did you use ball bearing sliders on the bed frame? And if so, what specs, weight, and where did you buy them from? I did use ball bearing runners just because it makes it super, super smooth. And frankly, in Australia, ball bearing runners are so cheap from Bunnings. So I just got them from Bunnings, the local hardware store. And I got heavy duty runners for the bed. I can't remember exactly the length that they were. I think they were 550 mil or maybe 500. But the bed box itself is 600 millimeters wide, and then the extendable section was 500. So it's 500, maybe 550 millimeters. Heavy duty sliders from Bunnings. Why are you ignoring me? I'm talking to you. Girls Are Better. I've been checking in on you. I'll do my best to not ignore anyone. Mary, did you install anything to open the back door from inside? No, Mary, I haven't. Damn it. That's such a good question. I really want to, and I don't think it's that difficult. It's just a matter of kind of figuring it out. Which I just haven't put the time in to do yet. But I have seen a really cool little reel where basically you cut a slit in the back door panel, and then using essentially like a lanyard, something you put around your neck and attach a key card to or something in an office building. So you use that lanyard and you connect the key ring down the bottom to the hook, sort of the van mechanism in the door, and then you just run the lanyard up sort of and hang it out this slit that you've cut in the back door. I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah, so you can pull on this lanyard and it will, because it's hooked down to the mechanism in behind the van, behind the door panel, it will open the door from the inside. So I've seen it. I know it's definitely possible and it's not so difficult. But yeah, I just haven't put some time in to work on it myself yet. T-Mock says, are your floors floating or attached to the floor? How is the floor attached to the van? So I am a big one for not fixing the floor. First of all, when you're doing your subfloor, I don't think that you need to fix the subfloor with screws at all. That just creates potential headaches with rust and damaging something underneath the van if you over penetrate. And it's just not necessary. So on all of my vans, I've just used a really good Sikaflex adhesive to bond down the timber strips and then the subfloor boards as well. So they're just glued down with some weight overnight. And then, yeah, I use a floating floor, so the click together, vinyl system that everybody has in their houses. So I've used those on a couple of my vans, and they require that you don't actually fix them down. If you do fix them down, then they can't move, then as they expand and contract with the moisture and cold, basically they will buckle up on themselves, which has happened in one of my vans, in this one. I'm not going to show you because you're not going to be able to see it on the camera, but yeah, the floating floor has sort of buckled up a little bit because I didn't allow enough movement in the floor. So with the floating floor, hence the name floating, you need to make sure that you don't fix it in place and you allow it to have some more movement. With that being said, it's different. If you put like a vinyl sheet down, then you need a contact adhesive all the way across the back of the van. Girls Are Better is asking me about Roblox. I have no idea about Roblox. Welding, T-Mock, welding is so tricky, so easy to blow through. Well, yeah, I know that now. I didn't know that before, but yeah, that's the whole aim of the game, is just to create attack without blowing through. Like it, which was so hard because the rusty metal was quite thin on the van, even in areas that I was leaving in. It was rust affected, so it was thinner than it should have been, and blow-throughs were an absolute headache. So I got a bit lucky that I was able to pull it off in the end. But yeah, welding, it is tricky. You've got to really be committed to figuring it out if you want to replace any rust yourself with welding. Matt from Nomadic Kayak Fishing. My old van had the same problem with the windscreen. I woke up during a cyclone to water pouring into the driver's seat. Oh, and then had to drive stick while holding a bucket beneath the leak. Oh, shit. Damn. Yeah, it's like everyone, I don't know, it wasn't my worst fear because I didn't know it was a potential issue, but it is now. And especially now knowing that there is rust there in one of my vans. It's kind of just feels like a ticking time bomb. Like it's just a matter of time. So yeah, it sucks, man. It sucks. Is that why you replaced that van, or did you just feel like an upgrade and wanted to move on to a Hi-Ace? Yeah, that sucks though. Am I going to continue buying cheap electrical items from Amazon, or have I learnt my lesson? That's a really good question. I haven't learnt my lesson. The reason I'm buying cheap electrical products from Amazon, believe it or not, is for you guys, because I love buying really good quality, and I spend way too much money on my van conversions because that's just what I like. I really prefer quality over just saving some money. But at the same time, I'm conscious that I'm recommending products to you guys, and a lot of people don't just want to be recommended the most expensive USB outlet out there just for peace of mind to know it works. Most people are going to want to shop around and have a look at cheaper items. So, with that in mind, I have started to buy some of the cheaper stuff on Amazon just to try it out, to see if it works, to see if I can recommend it because it's cheap and it works. So that's why I've been buying the cheaper electrical products, and it's been biting me in the ass. So thank you for bringing that up. I'm doing it for you guys, and I probably will continue to buy cheap stuff just to see if it works, and so I know sort of, yeah, what I can recommend and what I don't recommend. Mary, we threw out the old clips to secure the back door trim. Yeah, that's a really easy mistake to make. How do you cover the back and side door? And if so, how much did you do it, please? All right. Yeah, so if you've thrown out the little clips that hold the door panels in on the sliding door and on the back door, it's yeah, it is a little bit tricky. So what you can do, what I've done in the past, is you can find some plaster wall plugs that you would usually use to put in a plaster wall that will allow you to drill into that plaster wall, because there's a plastic plug filling this cavity in the wall, and your screw goes into the plastic plug rather than just into plaster. So you can find some of those. I've done that in the past, and I've filled the hole in the door panel and then screwed into that through my timber panel. It's a little bit complicated, but it is definitely possible to just find some plugs and screw into those. So it may be worth having a look at Bunnings for those plugs. Hey, yes, a lanyard on the back door makes sense. Thank you. If we do it, we will share. Yeah, that would be great. If you do anything, then share it, absolutely. And for anybody else watching who's sort of just found the channel, feel free to join the Facebook group and share any progress or ask any questions there. That's where I'm sort of most active, trying to answer everyone's questions. How did you install the house battery with the new Australian laws about having the battery enclosed and in a vented compartment slash box if inside the van? Ben, that's a really good question. I'm going to be honest, I don't have an answer for you, just completely transparently. So those laws, yeah, they do cause a lot of headaches for a lot of existing builds. As I was building these vans, it was sort of right on the cusp of those laws coming in. So I'll be honest, I kind of just decided to turn a blind eye to it, which isn't fantastic maybe. But given that I'm not getting these vans registered as an official camper van anyway, it's not such a problem for me. I'm sure, and my van is even insured through Camplify, which is a camper van renting service basically, but they also offer camper van insurance, which is really cheap and something that I'm probably going to talk about at a bit more length in the future because I think it's quite a good opportunity actually. But yeah, so because I'm renting my van out with a camper van insurance company that doesn't really care if the van is officially registered as a camper van or not. The official rules, I've kind of just ignored them for now. So I know that's probably not the answer that you wanted, but yeah, that's just my honest situation right now. Fairy floss welding sucks. It does suck. It definitely sucks. But rust sucks more, so yeah. Nomadic kayak fishing. Is your van petrol or diesel? How do you find the fuel consumption and driver handling? Mine's petrol. And yeah, the fuel consumption, it's not great, but I've sort of put that out of my mind to be honest, because I just figure it's my whole house on the back of a van. So yeah, it's not great, but it kind of is what it is. I think I can't really complain. I don't have to pay for accommodation, is what I tell myself. As far as driver handling goes, it's incredible. It's like so good. It's a little bit. I find that the Hi-Aces are quite industrial up the front. The front cab, it's a work vehicle, and they're not quite as lush and nice as other vans you can get, like a VW T5, for example. But they just handle so well, the Hi-Aces. I was really impressed, and they're super comfortable as well. Oh, my sister's calling me mid live stream. She's obviously not watching. So yeah, the Hi-Aces, I really can't say enough positive stuff about the Hi-Aces. I'm a really big fan. Bobby, thoughts on Sterling's dominant display against Ortega last night? I have no idea what that means. It seems like you're talking about UFC. That's cool, but I've no idea what you're talking about. Nomadic kayak fishing. Nah, I replaced the old van because I was sick of the old crappy build. Was unsustainable living and working from a damp, uncomfortable space. Not to mention the stress of an old, unreliable vehicle. Yeah, right. Well, I actually can't remember what the old van was. Was that an older Hi-Ace, or did you swap models to the Hi-Ace as well as something a bit newer? But yeah, I definitely understand. Especially, I don't know how long you were in that van, man, but doing van life on the road, literally working from... My sister keeps calling. Working from... Let me put Do Not Disturb mode on. Yeah, working from your van, doing all your video editing and stuff, and then also having the van decked out for all of your fishing stuff. That's like madness to not have like a fully dedicated build. So I guess you did well to last as long as you did. But obviously you learned, which is a really cool thing, like in that van you learned everything that you wanted or needed on the road. So you were able to make this van so good. So yeah, I guess it's worked out for you, which was awesome. Fairy Floss, can you get new clips from Supercheap? Unfortunately, look, I don't want to say you can't, but I also was missing some of those clips for the side panels, for the sliding door and the rear door, particularly on the Hi-Ace. If some of those are missing, or if you throw them out and you want to put those panels back on, um, I looked high and low like 4 different times at Supercheap for those clips because I know that Supercheap sell a lot of the plastic clips for different cars, but I couldn't find anything like thick enough at Supercheap that would fit into that hole. I'm happy to be wrong, so if someone finds some, let me know. That would be great. But yeah, I just couldn't. I couldn't find any, so I had to go with the plaster plug. I think that diesel is the way, says T-Mock. Yeah, diesel. I mean, diesel's great. Diesel's reliable. Some other cars have had a problem with the oh, what's it called? There's like a filter that gets put on the diesel engines to help them meet the um, what's it called? The eco codes, that they're not polluting the environment too much, and that really puts a lot of strain on them. DPS, I think it's called, or DPS or DPF. So sometimes those can go, and it's an incredibly hard part to replace, apparently, and expensive. My dad's just had this issue, so he's been researching it heaps. So that can be an issue with diesels, but apparently as well, that specific problem isn't really an issue on Hi-Aces, because apparently Hi-Aces can just do no wrong. So yeah, if it's petrol or diesel, as long as it's a Hi-Ace, I wouldn't have a problem. If it's not a Hi-Ace, then yeah, just having seen firsthand what my dad has gone through with his van, I would stick to petrol, actually. But yeah, each to their own. Say hi. Hello, my friend. I'm from Indonesia. Hello. I used to know how to say hello in Indonesian. Um, my sister's just come out. Hello. Terima kasih is thank you in Indonesian, I think. Hey, Cove Edit. Name a car for an edit. A Toyota Hiace. That's a car that you should edit. Mary, question regarding the walls. Yes, Mary. What tips do you have for working out those damn curves and edges for the roof and walls? So yeah, this is tricky. There's no super easy fix a way around the curves and edges of a van conversion. If you want to make really good use of the space, the simple fact is you're gonna have to yeah, pull some hair out trying to just recut and recut and recut those curves. The way that you should try to do it is by creating cardboard stencils. Every time you need to create a curve or a different shape, just grab a bit of cardboard and cut it with that first to get the exact shape, and then transfer that onto your timber to hopefully just make one cut with your timber and be done. But yeah, you sort of have to just make a lot of different cardboard stencils for all the different cuts. Like I've got like 25 or so, maybe more, cardboard stencils in the shed for the Hi-Ace for all the different sections. So yeah, cardboard stencils is the way to go. I was originally in a 1997 Super Custom. I've never even heard of that. That might be a New Zealand car, is it? It served me well, but definitely worth the upgrade. Yeah, nice. Very cool. Welcome to Team Hi-Ace. Oh, and a 4-wheel drive Hi-Ace, no less. which is sweet. I wonder, yeah, that'll probably, especially given what you're doing around the coast, going to beaches and stuff, you'll be able to actually use your four-wheel drive capability, which is cool. Regarding the back and side door, we're thinking of a 15mm hex head into a riv nut. Yeah, so you can do riv nuts, but you're gonna need a really big riv nut. That's the problem. So yeah, if you've got a massive nut riveter and you've got a few riv nuts sitting around, you can do that, but um, it's gonna be no. So you mean not using the original holes, but creating your own holes with a nut riveter and fixing them that way? Maybe that would be a definite way around it. But I would ask the question: a 15mm hex head into a riv nut, right? You mean a bolt. So you're going to put a bolt into your threaded rivet to secure the panels. I think that's great. That's a perfect fix. One tip that I can offer is if you're going to drill your own holes to create a nut rivet, like to insert your own rivet, your own threaded rivet in the van walls, what I would do is figure out roughly the positions where you want to have your threaded rivets, and then place your timber panel up on the sliding door and on the rear door where you want them to be, and then drill a pilot hole through both materials. So with the timber in place, get like a 2 or 3mm drill bit and drill exactly where you want your bolt to go, so that the hole through the timber panel and where the hole that will dictate where your riv nut is, they are both perfectly aligned and in the same position. So once you do one, I guess you can fix that in place, then do pilot holes in the rest of the positions that you're after, and then take it off and insert all of your threaded rivets so they all align perfectly, would be my tip on how to do that. Yep. 7 Pulsar. Are you okay, my bro? I'm good. I'm so good. I'm excited for a New Zealand trip tomorrow. Measure twice, cut 10 times. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Which, unfortunately, like, if you're just doing your first, like, one van build, and you're doing your van build and you'll be done, it's like, there's no real point kind of making any fancy permanent stencils, right? Because you're not going to be reusing them 6 times over, so you just make it on a bit of cardboard, and yeah, that's that. I would save your stencils until the end of the build, because you never know when they're helpful, but yeah, it's just cardboard cutouts. Bro, I have a Supra MK4. Can I upgrade to a van like you? 7 Pulsar, you can do anything you want in this life. So go for it. If that's what you want, then do it. I think van life is really cool. So yeah, guys, I was saying before at the start of the stream, before we sort of kick things off, that I've been working on a van conversion guide, like a step-by-step walkthrough process. So yeah, if anybody's doing a van build, at the moment the planning phase is up on the website and on the Facebook group. It's Journey Van Builds. So the planning phase is up, which is really cool, and it's been up forever. I just always forget to tell people that it's there. So there's heaps of good information in that. But once you've started the build, I'm actually just about to release the second part of the guide, which walks you through the whole base build part of the van conversion process. So everything from, your vehicle mods, like installing your window, your max air fan, your insulation, sound deadening, framing your van, cable roughing, installing your subfloor, installing your walls, ceiling, and then finish floor. I think that might be all of the steps, actually. But yeah, I run through all of those steps in heaps of detail and offer all of my sort of advice and things that I've learned throughout the journey on how you can do all of those steps sort of as seamlessly as possible. So that's going to be available on the website, journeyvanbuilds.com, really soon. So yeah, definitely keep an eye out for that if you're keen to, yeah, get a leg up on your van build. Mary, what did you cover your side step with? So I used a laminate click together flooring system, the same as like you see in a lot of houses. So I've just installed that on the side step. I can show you. So just down there you can see the floor is the same on the side step as it is on the whole floor in the van. So yeah, that just looks the best for me, and it just makes sense. That's the floor, so why not? Yeah, just install that as well. So I've just put a bunch of right angle step nosing tread on to sort of box all of that off and to finish it off. So that's my side step, which works really, really well. That's about it. So yeah. We've got no more questions about van builds at the moment. So if anybody has any more questions, otherwise we'll finish up shortly, I suppose. Is the van I'm in the latest build, and did I put the nooks into the back wall? So this is my van that I built a couple of years ago, and I lived in on the Sunshine Coast for a couple of years. So this one, I've got just this little nook here, which just is for plants basically. And a little, I should have had this on, little fairy light rope. And then I've got the nook over on this side as well. Again, essentially just for some plants. If I wanted it to be more practical, I probably would have built this this bench to come out into the van a little bit more, just so it would be a little bit thicker, and you could actually fit some decent stuff on there, or put a better front rail across there. In my case, I never really intended on it to be a super practical solution. It just was kind of a nice touch, so I was happy with it as it is. But so I've got 2 of the nooks in this van. Have I ever used vinyl planks that are not clipped together? Yes. So I used to work at a caravan building company. We would build like high-end caravans, and they would use, or we would install those vinyl planks in those vans. They're really good for a couple of reasons. They're super easy to install, first of all, but they are also really easy to replace. So if you do get damage, or some water gets under there and things start peeling, they are super easy to replace, which is like really handy. The trouble with them is that they are not as waterproof as some other options, like just a full vinyl sheet or the click together systems, which you can get waterproof variations in. With that being said, the click together systems are never fully waterproof, so you can't rely on that, as I've learned in this van. But yeah, so we would use just stick down vinyl planks with some glue. They will go down really well. If you're going to use those, you just have to really be sure that you've waterproofed your subfloor boards really well. So in those caravans, we had no timber, so there was no risk of sort of rotting and moisture damage underneath the floor. So if you've got a timber subfloor and you want to use those vinyl just stick down planks, then I would definitely use some kind of polyurethane, like a sealant to seal your subfloor to really make it waterproof. Yeah. 1 second. Yeah. I'm live streaming. That's my parents. I'm just in the van out the front of my parents' house right now. In the van you are in. Sorry. Flynn Morrissey, are you going to make part 2 and part 3 for the written guide soon? Or are you taking a new route? Yeah, so Flynn, that's what I don't know if you were here just a few minutes ago, but I was just talking about that. I've got this part two is really close to being released, but basically, I wasn't quite happy with part one. Part one was essentially just me on my own, just writing everything I know about van builds in a big long block of writing. So yeah, it's a lot of information and there's a lot of really useful information, I think, but it's quite difficult to digest as a reader and to find the bits and pieces that you actually want. So, what I've done for part two is I've been working on basically hosting it on my website so you can, yeah, just click through things. There'll be more images, more cross links, so you can click to other parts and jump back and forth. And yeah, it's just going to be a little bit more user friendly. So that's just taking quite a bit of time because I'm not a web developer. So yeah, just having to build that myself and figure it all out. So part two is really close to coming out, and it's really, really, I'm like super proud of it. So yeah, it's just there. So if you join the Journey Van Builds Facebook group, then you'll definitely be told exactly when that comes out in the next couple of weeks. I'm hoping next week or two, I'll be able to release that. Thanks for asking. It's yeah, it's I'm definitely continuing on with the van build guides. That's what I want to be doing, but yeah, I'm just trying to do it kind of right. It's not so easy to present all the information in a way that's actually helpful to you guys. You know, if I just sort of chuck writing on a piece of paper with everything I know, then nobody's gonna be able to sort of, you know, have the attention span to read through thousands and thousands of words to learn what they want. So, yeah, it's coming. Is there an app I would advise to use for good value Queensland overnight sites? Is there an app that I use for good value Queensland overnight sites? To be honest, Mary, I do just freedom camping. So I've when I have lived in the van, I've just done like stealth camping and freedom camping. So I haven't really found all of the good sites that you can book and use. I've found a lot of little, you know, side streets and sneaky areas where you can stay without getting in trouble, nice and close to the beach and things like that. But yeah, I haven't really been using an app. With that being said, I have in the past when I did my Australia trip, I used WikiCamps, so that was really good. Has yeah heaps of really good spots on there. WikiCamps is what I would recommend. So yep, great. We heard you get fined in Queensland. Yeah, so this is referring to freedom camping or stealth camping, sleeping in your vehicle in Queensland. So in Victoria and New South Wales, it's legal to sleep in your vehicle at a state level. There are some, not counties, that's an American word, what I want to say. Some councils have outlawed it in their specific council. You know, like Byron Bay and Geelong, where I grew up, and basically all the popular spots. But Queensland, the entire state, is illegal to sleep in your vehicle. So if you stealth camp or freedom camp, then you do run a big risk of getting a fine. I've always managed to avoid that just by sort of being really respectful and mindful and, you know, maybe being a little bit clever about it. You avoid the really hot spots, especially during busier periods, and then you can sort of, you know, push the boundaries a little bit more in quieter periods. Not that I'm recommend anybody, you know, bend any rules, but yeah, there are certain ways around it. All right, I reckon I'll finish this up shortly, so I'll just answer another couple of quick questions and then I'm gonna go have some dinner. Have I thought about removing it? Have I thought about removing it for ease of access to front to back? Just wondering on your thoughts. Sorry, Flynn, I'm not sure what you're talking about removing, but I'm assuming you're talking about the bench in between the front cab and the converted area. So this bench here, you could have that on a hinge so that it opens up to give you easy access through. But to be perfectly honest with you, this is an unpopular opinion, I think, with van building. I don't think in a small van like a HiAce, I don't think there's enough value in allowing through a throughway to justify giving up all of the space that you lose in your van conversion in the back. So I know a lot of people disagree with that, and a lot of people want really want access from the back through to the front of the van. It's just not something I've ever found super important, particularly in Australia. It's yeah, and being a man, I've got to say as well, I've never had situations where I feel unsafe to get out of my van to walk around to the driver's seat. It would be handy in a rainy situation where I've been in cases where it's been bucketing down and I've had to crawl through. But that's kind of exactly my point, is you can always crawl through anyway if it is an emergency. So yeah, in a HiAce, in a smaller van like this, it's just not been a priority for me to allow access between yeah, the living space and the front cab. Could even make it more of a box to put the portable in, kind of like a seat in the middle. You could use it to sit in as you do dishes, and then left to access toilet. Yeah, that's true. You could leave the bench out and then kind of just have a little box there as a seat, which kind of would contain your toilet. That was my initial plan. When I designed this layout and I left that space open, that space is designed for a toilet, and that was my plan, was to have a little box that the toilet is in that I could pull out and use as a seat while I'm at my sink. So that was the initial thought behind the plan. Obviously, yeah, I don't feel the need for a toilet because there are so many public facilities in Australia, so it hadn't been quite important enough to warrant carrying a toilet inside the van with me. But yeah, that is a cool idea. It's really cool. If you want to have access through the van, you could just leave out that bit of bench space and have a little seat and a toilet in there as well. Top comment is a bit higher. I'm not sure what that means. Mary, thank you for your answers. Appreciate it. Mary, thank you so much for being here and for all of your questions. You've been quarterbacking the chat tonight, so I really appreciate that. And I hope I could help you out a little bit, give you some little insights. So, yeah, that looks like about it, guys. I'm gonna wrap it up. Yeah, so thanks for being here. If you're getting some value from any of the videos and stuff, then definitely check out journeyvanbuilds.com. I've got heaps of resources there, like 12-volt diagrams and van building courses and guides and stuff. So check that out, or just join the Facebook group if you want to ask some questions there. I'm happy to answer all your questions there and try and maybe post some videos explaining things a little bit better and things like that. So, yep. That's about all for tonight. Thanks for being here, guys. I might do another live stream when I'm in New Zealand, so that would be cool. Yeah, we'll see if we can organize something. So yeah, thanks for being here, guys. I'll catch you on the next one.